If you want to understand Picasso, you have to study his art. If you want to understand a serial killer, you study the crime.
4 unidentified bodies.
Long Island police literally stumbled onto the crime scene.
What was going on out in Long Island?
10 sets of remains have been discovered.
It was this burial ground for all these people.
They're laying out in the open. Why weren't they noticed?
The killer has apparently targeted prostitutes.
The police didn't investigate because they were sex workers.
That's fucking infuriating.
They kept the FBI out of this investigation. Was this a cover-up? What are they hiding?
We realized that we needed to act. DNA evidence was obtained. We identified the suspect. Get him within your sights, but don't blow the investigation.
He was keeping very close tabs on law enforcement.
His internet searches contain torture porn, rape.
I sized him up totally wrong.
This is the house that police have been swarming.
This guy was hunting victims for sport.
These women were tortured.
This was beyond your worst nightmare.
You're talking about a cold case that extends back 30 years.
How many bodies are we going to see here?
Catch this guy for us, please.
Long Island is an actual island about 30 miles east of Greater Manhattan. Long Island is a true melting pot of people from all walks of life. A lot of firefighters, teachers, cops.
Upper middle class to working class. Safe. Here and there you'd hear something, you know, but not too bad.
We have the Baldwin brothers, the actors, they're from this town.
So is Jerry Seinfeld. A lot of people are from Massapequa.
Long Island seems like a place where nothing goes wrong. But behind closed doors, it's not always as it appears to be.
The Long Island serial killer, one of the most prolific, unsolved serial killer cases in modern US history. I was in the FBI 11 years. I've always looked at the victims in this case and thought, that could have been my niece, that could have been my best friend, that could have been my cousin, that could have been my sister. How would I want that murder to be investigated? During the height of this investigation, certain circles within law enforcement were dismissive. All victims deserve to have equal protection under law. And you don't not investigate something because someone is involved with sex work. They all have names, they all have families, they all have people that miss them. I think a lot of people are inclined to look away, but this impacts every member of society. Don't look away from it. The problems with this case go back to the beginning of it. And this case really starts with missing women.
The search is on this morning for a missing woman.
The young mother from Scarborough had been missing since last June.
A 23-year-old woman missing since May 2010.
She vanished without a trace.
She visited New York and hasn't been seen since.
Every year, hundreds of women and girls go missing in New York and on Long Island.
It's a desperate search for a missing woman who hasn't been seen now for almost a week.
Long Island reporter Kristen Thorne with the latest.
Sade Marie Kunla spent 17 years working as a public defender.
My name is Kristen Thorne. I was a reporter for 13 years with ABC Channel 7 Eyewitness News in New York.
Police are now in this area of Freeport that they have searched before.
I investigate cold case disappearances.
The female jogger, 30 years old, her family called police when she didn't return home.
If you're a juvenile in this country and you disappear, there is a lot to help find you. If you're 65 and older, we have something called a silver alert. So there's an alert that goes out. But if you're in that 18 to 64 range and you disappear, good luck. Law enforcement is overloaded with cases, so a missing woman is not always going to make it to the top of the pile.
When Melissa first went missing, my favorite shows were like CSI, Criminal Minds. What is the chance of this happening to us? I mean, we're just normal, laid-back family, close-knit. I mean, how could this happen to us? Melissa was pretty shy, but she loved people. She loved her family. She would like to put twist ties in Grandma's hair, pretend that she was putting rollers in there. Melissa's plan was to move to New York City and open her own salon. She always told me, I want to get my career going. I want to enjoy life a little bit. She was working hard, and she deserved the whole world. And then she went missing.
Before Megan went missing, I was seeing her every day. She was a problem child. If you came onto her face to face, one of you two were going down, and it's not gonna be her. But she was kind. If you needed anything, she wouldn't hesitate in the least to give it to you. She would give the last penny in her pocket. Have you ever gone roller skating? And you wear white and how it changes the color? She would just get out on that floor and do whatever she wanted. She was a free girl. Megan was on temporary aid for needy families. They were only giving her $400 a month for her and Liliana. She tried getting jobs, but it didn't work out. I found out that Megan was placing ads on Craigslist through her brother's ex-girlfriend. She's like, yeah, on the escort section. I'm like, what? I'm like, no way. I just went through like 300 pages of photos of females, and Megan is in there. We had no clue.
Craigslist was a place for a lot of things in 2010, including personal services as well as sexual services. And in many ways, it was safer because women could screen their clients and then decide if they wanted to meet with them.
We all tried talking to Megan, trying to get her out of it, but she needed money so she could stay where she was living. The last time anybody saw Megan was 2010. She took a bus down to New York to work. She disappeared into thin air. I called Suffolk County Police Department. They searched the hotel, and as far as I know of, that's the only time they looked for her.
We contacted the 43rd Precinct, said, you know, my daughter lives in the Bronx. We haven't heard from her. And she's like, ma'am, is she mentally retarded? Is she on any type of psych meds? No, no, no. Well, then she's not missing. She's where she wants to be. It was so discouraging. They're just not doing their job.
For years, these families knew that their loved ones were missing. And no matter how many times they went to the police department to try to get them to take this seriously, they didn't.
Melissa was last seen leaving her apartment in the Bronx on July 12. Her family is looking for help.
If anybody has seen my daughter, please contact us.
What do you think happened to your daughter?
I don't know if somebody had grabbed her while she was walking to the store or what, but I know she is definitely missing.
With a lot of missing persons, it's not always clear to the family or friends where exactly their loved one disappeared. But with Shannon Gilbert, it's a completely different story.
When I heard my sister was missing, I knew something sinister happened. Shannon was doing this for a few years to pay her college tuition. She was so smart and talented, and she was so realistic, so relatable. I could tell her anything. Her voice was very beautiful. We had this thing, Sunday fun day, every weekend we all got together. So much fun, so much laughter, food. It was the best times. We all thought we were the Spice Girls. Our favorite girl band was the Spice Girls. She loved music. She loved it. You know how like you're so scared to tell your mom things? With Shannon, it's like having like your mom and your sister. It was great. One day, her boyfriend notified my mother that she went to see a client and was never seen after that.
I met Shannon Gilbert working for this escort agency. I got a job as a driver. May 1st, Shannon texted me. She said, can you pick me up at 32nd and Broadway? She will take the PATH train there from New Jersey. So I said, yeah, sure. Somebody spoke to her about coming out to Long Island. It was a long drive, about an hour from the city. We got there around like 1 a.m. When they went up to the house, I took a nap. And around 5 a.m., the guy came out to my car and he said that she won't leave. I said, what? I went into his house. I said, what's wrong? And she said, they're trying to kill me. So I said, who's trying to kill you? She just got up, right up and ran. She went across the car toward thickets of bushes. I called her and texted her, she didn't pick up.
Within 24 hours, my mother reported her missing. We were told that this was just a case of a runaway. That's not something my sister would do. This is not like her. This is not who she is. This is not her character. We all knew something happened.
The crazy thing is, Shannon's driver could pinpoint exactly where she went missing. And yet, that area remained largely untouched by law enforcement. Then, in December of 2010, 7 months after Shannon disappeared, total fluke. An officer for the Suffolk County Police Department decided, you know, I'm gonna go take my canine to go practice down at Gilgo Beach. I'm gonna go out to Gilgo. I'm gonna look for that Shannon Gilbert woman. Look what happened.
We're following some breaking news right now. A body has been found in Oak Beach.
Authorities made the find as they investigated a missing persons report, looking for a 24-year-old woman from Jersey City.
On May 1st of this year, Shannon Gilbert, a 23-year-old female, went missing. We had no leads as to where she went. In a continuation of that investigation, the Missing Persons Unit responded to the area where this young lady went missing with his dog, Blue. Here's Blue.
Blue's a cadaver dog. We started our search. He started sampling the air, and he started indicating to a spot off the shoulder of the parkway. At that point, I saw the skeletal remains of a body.
Bombshell tonight. An off-duty cop walking his dog on a beautiful, remote, isolated beach stumbles upon a woman's dead body.
One night, we're sitting on the couch watching Nancy Grace, and all of a sudden, they discovered a body in Long Island. They said that they had found a female, approximately 24 to 26 years old, 4'9". We just started crying. We knew it was her. I mean, it's unbelievable. It was so close to the road. How could nobody see this?
They were searching more that day. They didn't find anybody. 2 days later, Suffolk County contacted me to tell me that they found 3 more bodies.
Oak Beach tonight, looking more like a gruesome cemetery. The remains of 3 more people were found stuffed in these brushes.
Typically, when you have a homicide, it's one person with a particular set of circumstances. When we realized, the reporters, the media, that there were 4 bodies that seemed to be killed in a consistent way, all buried in the same area, it was just unbelievable. I had never seen anything like it in all my years of reporting. And we knew that we had a huge story on our hands. The media dubbed them the Gilgo 4.
The Gilgo 4 were found along Ocean Parkway. They were spaced equally apart, and 3 of the 4 victims were found to have been wrapped using a specific type of burlap, typically used by duck hunters. They were disposed of in a very distinct and similar manner. It wasn't a burial site, it was where their bodies were strategically disposed of. Unless you've been there, it's hard to explain. Ocean Parkway is a desolate highway. There's no streetlights. It's completely dark. You can have considerable time if you're trying to commit a crime like disposing of a body. I've personally pulled over and timed it. At nighttime, you might not see headlights for 30 seconds, or you could not see headlights for 8 minutes. There are no housing structures nearby. There's no businesses. He walked maybe 25 paces, dumped the body, got in his vehicle, and left. The investigators found hairs that did not belong to the victims, and it did not match any profile within law enforcement DNA databases. They belonged to an unidentified male of Caucasian descent. The totality of the evidence linked the Gilgo 4 together very cleanly and clearly and logically from an investigative standpoint.
Shannon Gilbert is the suspected sex worker whose disappearance police were investigating when they stumbled on 4 bodies, but Gilbert was not among them. She remains missing. Suffolk County Police find themselves now on the trail of a possible serial killer.
One of the things that stood out to me was that all of the victims were petite in nature. He has this distinct type. I think he was picking those victims because they were small in stature and easier to control because of their size.
Tonight, Suffolk County sheriffs say they think one of the bodies could be that of 22-year-old Megan Waterman from Scarborough.
When you're done, take it out and just put it back away.
Okay.
Scarborough police asked Lorraine Ela for a swab sample to see if her DNA will match one of the bodies.
Probably a month after Detective Hagan shows up at my house to tell me that it was Megan. I was pretty much like, okay, what is my next step? What do I do? And he was like, well, I'm really sorry about your loss. He's like, here's my card, here's this gentleman's card. And they left. They turned around and walked away.
Good afternoon. We are here today to announce that all 4 women whose remains were discovered in Gilgo Beach last month have been positively identified. The victims are Megan Waterman of Scarborough, Maine, Melissa Barthelemy of the Bronx, Maureen Brainard Barnes of Norwich, Connecticut, and Amber Lynn Costello of North Babylon.
I still like it out there. Fishing, I've been doing it for a long time, man. It's something different. Especially after all that shit happened. Yeah, but it was funny. She was like ridiculous, you know what I mean? Like 4'10", 100 pounds, just like a little firecracker, you know what I mean? She was just like any other 20-something-year-old girl. Talked about getting married, talked about, holding down a real job. She loved animals, man. That was the thing. She wanted to be a veterinarian. She was looking into schools and stuff. Yeah, but would have done something. She had a really good moral compass, but the second her sister came around, it just, the compass started spinning. It was her sister that got her into all that shit. They were doing calls together. These guys that would come for this kind of stuff, man, you'd be surprised how many of them are like cops, lawyers. I'd swear to shit, 90% of the people were married men. The first week of September 2010, she's like, I got a call, the guy wants to possibly do 24 hours. And then she disappeared. Of course, it fucks you up. Because, it's your friend that's gone.
All of those women were engaged in prostitution and solicited business over the internet. And these homicides appear to us to be directly related to that business.
Maureen was fearless. Brave is an understatement. She was always like that. I met Maureen when we were working as telemarketers. She was in the cubicle across from me, and we just clicked. Maureen was the most lively person. She always had something funny to say. She knew when to have fun, and she knew when to work her ass off. She's a single mom, and she was trying hard. When she was fired, I think maybe 2 or 3 weeks after me, she needed to make that money real quick. And she said, hey, Sarah, you like to fuck random people? Why don't you get paid for it? First, what we would do is we'd type in manhattan.craigslist.org. We'd go to erotic services, and then it would make you put in the title, like, hi, I'm Lacey, I'm 100% independent. You're a rent-a-girlfriend. Everybody seems to think that it's gonna be like Pretty Woman, and you have to dress like her, okay? No, you have to dress like her after she meets Richard Gere. It's more about companionship than it is about the sex. One of the most important things she always told me, she said, follow your instincts. If it doesn't feel right, don't do it. When Maureen went missing, we were staying in Midtown Manhattan. But I left, I went back to Connecticut. Later on that night, I kept calling her phone, calling her phone, calling her phone. We would work in pairs to keep us safe, but she had eviction court the next day. She had less than 24 hours to get some fucking kind of money up so that they didn't lose their friggin' house. And that's why she went alone. She wouldn't have done it any other time. I have really bad survivor's guilt because I really feel like she'd be alive had I stayed. I know that for a fact.
Melissa was in New York for probably 2.5 years, and I didn't find out what she was doing until they found her body and they found out that they were sex workers. We were really close with Melissa. We spoke constantly. It's just mind-boggling. I just don't understand how I missed all this stuff, how I didn't know what she was doing.
here on Oak Beach. They don't seem overly concerned since the killer has apparently targeted prostitutes.
I think that it was very comforting when we found out that he was targeting a specific group of women from a specific website, so that it made it something that was removed from us.
In the beginning, the media wasn't very nice. They called our girls prostitutes and whores.
Bodies of 4 young prostitutes in December.
Another Craigslist prostitute.
An online escort.
Prostitutes who advertised their services on Craigslist.
People would see something on TV, and basically they would say that they deserved it.
There was some of the attitude that, well, they put themselves in that position. And that was obvious from public statements that some of the most senior people investigating this murder were saying.
Their deaths are a direct result of their business as prostitutes.
We're easy targets because we are considered bottom of the barrel. Nobody gives a shit about us. We cannot report crimes to cops because it's not legal.
Today, sex work has become more destigmatized. With sites like OnlyFans becoming mainstream, it's become a more accepted line of work. But in 2010, that wasn't the case.
At one point, one of the senior investigators made a comment to a reporter about the victims being greedy and wanting money. When I read that, I remember getting sick to my stomach because I just thought to myself, what have you done to find this guy? And what are you doing telling a reporter that this victim was greedy and that's why she was involved in that type of work? It's utter fucking bullshit.
Any more questions? One more, please.
Don't be scared.
Oh, no, I don't think, no. I don't want anybody to think that we have a Jack the Ripper running around Suffolk County with blood dripping from a knife. It's not that type of situation. And so I would say to people, go about your business. Suffolk County is one of the safest counties anywhere in the United States.
Just 3 months after the Gilgo 4 are discovered, another bombshell drops. I get a call, more bodies have been found in Gilgo. We need you guys to go out there. And so we leave New York City to go out to Long Island.
Police vehicle was driving by this Ocean Parkway highway and something caught his eye.
Last time they were here was actually back in January, just a couple weeks after Suffolk police found the remains of 4 women.
The winter weather prevented searching, so they came out here again.
Officers discovered what appeared to be another human remain. It was discovered also on the north side of Ocean Parkway.
Helicopters, cadaver dogs, machetes. The macabre search for fresh evidence in Shannon Gilbert's disappearance continue today in a case that only grows grislier with each gruesome discovery.
Police found a human skull yesterday, this time by divers. They are being examined tonight by medical experts.
Over the course of a few weeks, police found partial skeletal remains several miles east of where the Gilgo 4 were found.
Investigators unearthed 4 more bodies on that same strip of beach.
One more body, that's right. The body count just keeps on rising and the grisly mystery just deepens.
Ocean Parkway is a mass burial ground. I mean, this is like crazy.
It's just a little bit unsettling that, you never know what could be down the street.
Very scary, and it makes it much more creepy to come here by yourself.
I keep a cell phone in one pocket, and when I have to take a shotgun, I'm out of here.
At that time, the fever pitch from the public interest, the public outcry, and the media got really, really high because you have a crime scene with at least 10 bodies, and Shannon Gilbert has not been found.
So far, police have already discovered the remains of 10 people. They made it very clear that they do not know if these remains are connected to the 4 other women that you saw there. So still a lot of mystery around this. Police are holding this news conference at 11 o'clock this morning. We're live at Gilgo Beach. Kristen Thorne, CBS 2 News.
Where's Bob? You all set? Today we're going to discuss some details regarding the remains discovered by the Suffolk County Police Department, and what is now very clear is that the area in and around Gilgo Beach has been used to discard human remains for some period of time. Displayed on the maps are the locations where the remains were found.
6 other victims. 5 were female, 1 was male, and 1 of them is a toddler. 4 of the 6 were dismembered. Typically, perpetrators dismember victims in order to frustrate and confuse investigators, because presumptively, if law enforcement knew who that person was, they would be able to fairly easily link the victim back to the perpetrator. So the crime scene itself is 2.5 miles long and spans 2 different jurisdictions. That's huge. So investigating the Gilgo 4, that's where they honed in, because quite frankly, that was the easiest and most logical path for investigators to follow.
While I will not term it as a serial killer, there are no similarities. I want to emphasize this. There are no similarities at all to the 4 Gilgo homicides. There is no evidence that all of these remains are that of a single killer.
The difference between the way the Gilgo 4 were found and the other bodies begged the question, was this the work of one individual, or was there more than one serial killer on Long Island?
The public should realize that this investigation is not an episode of CSI or Criminal Minds that is going to be solved in a 1-hour period. The investigation most likely is going to take a very long period of time.
On numerous occasions, I asked the police what was going on with the case. And they said, just believe me, we're really working on it. It's the only thing that we're working on. We'll never stop working. That's basically all they told us. A few months later, the coroner told me that Melissa's body wasn't whole. They found another part of her body, her arm. I said, well, how could you have missed that? They had told me that maybe a crab or some type of animal had dragged off a part of her body and they had missed it. They asked me what I wanted to do with it. And I said, well, what do you mean, what do I want to do with it? I want to put her whole body together. I mean, it's unbelievable. I really wasn't good with the stress that was going on in my life at that time. I wanted to find the other families.
I didn't know about Lynn until she started looking for me on Facebook.
I set up the group so we could contact each other and keep in touch.
We'd shoot a message, and then we just talked quite a bit.
A special bond. We know we can talk to each other because we know what each other is feeling.
Lynn became my best friend, my sister. She wanted me to go spend a week at her house, so I took a week's vacation. But yeah, our friendship will never end. Then we were just one big, somewhat happy family.
We want just a little bit of closure. Not all of us have been to the sites, and it's tough. It's taken just about everything I have to be here.
This was supposed to be a final goodbye to all the girls, but with Shannon Gilbert still missing, family members say they will continue to return to this site as long as it takes.
My name is Mary Gilbert. My daughter is Shannon. She is out there. She is missing. And our family and our friends, we're going to find her, and we're going to find out who hurt Shannon, and all the others.
In this situation, I think you just kind of listen to what your heart tells you. And my mother definitely knew that Shannon wasn't with us anymore. It was tough, but it only made her stronger. There's a part of me that did not want to move forward, but we needed answers.
I'm hoping that the more the people see this, the more the people hear this, that they're gonna know we're not gonna forget, regardless how long it takes. If it takes the rest of our lives, we're gonna find where my daughter is, and we're gonna find out who did this to the other girls.
When we went to see the site, we were pulled down the side of the road, and the police basically told us that we had to leave. A detective from Suffolk County told us that he did not want us talking to the media because the media was trouble and they always get everything twisted.
Are there any updates in the investigation that you know of?
Nothing. Homicide detectives will not tell us anything. They should be contacting us, not leaving us hanging like they're doing.
Yeah. All they tell us is, when we catch him, you'll be the first to know.
Early on, the families were stonewalled by law enforcement. These cases were not moving as fast as they should have been. The families needed to find a way to get law enforcement to listen to them. And for Shannon's family, that resulted in finding John Ray. You can say what you want about John Ray, but he is a good lawyer.
Do you want to sit? Yeah.
Come up closer.
A tiny bit.
Yeah.
It's an amazing room. I mean, I didn't need a set designer, babe.
I'm a lawyer. I've been a lawyer since 1983. I work 7 days a week. I do everything. I litigate. I'm not afraid of the big firms or the government as a renegade against the system. Mary Gilbert contacted me through Steve Barcelo, photographer/reporter for the New York Daily News. He said, look, can you help me with this lady that's involved in that Long Island serial killer case? She had no money, but what was wrong here was that the police didn't do anything. So I was asked to step in, and that's what I did. Step up here next to me so you can be close. The media comes when I call a press conference as a rule because they know me. Whenever you're ready, you tell me and we'll get cranking. That was my value. Are we on? Okay. We're here today at the site of these terrible crimes because the Suffolk County Police Department is grossly derelict in its duty. The Commissioner of Police in Suffolk County has acted like the Pink Panther. I called him Inspector Clouseau. And I brought a big board that we had made up, some facts and figures. They may investigate serial killings in violation of the laws of a state or a political... I guess I went, using my, Irish talents, and that highly insulted them. We say, step up to the plate, do your job. If it doesn't happen, we will launch a lawsuit for that to occur.
I think the police department got annoyed with him. John Ray fought the Suffolk County Police Department. And that's when they finally resumed looking for Shannon.
Tonight, Suffolk County Police confirmed that they were again searching for any evidence of missing New Jersey woman Shannon Gilbert.
Today, during the search, they found a cell phone, which they believe may belong to Shannon Gilbert.
It's looking like the missing New Jersey prostitute is buried in the boggy marsh, her jeans and pocketbook discovered yesterday.
A year and a half after Shannon disappeared, her body was finally found, less than a mile from where she disappeared, and several miles east of where the Gilgo 4 were found.
The body was found approximately 1/4 mile northeast of where her personal belongings were located.
When Shannon was found, our world just stopped. As much as we tried to pick up the pieces, it was impossible. It absolutely broke our family. I feel robbed of my youth because I was so stuck on the tragedy. I wasn't able to move forward and focus on a career when I was in a very dark place for a very long time. It's a sick, horrible, sick world that we live in.
What's running through your mind?
It's evil. This place is evil.
Why weren't the reeds cut down a year ago? Why didn't you bring in all this equipment a year ago?
Well, it wasn't, we didn't think it was necessary, and also that area was full of water.
If investigators weren't able to go through there to search, how could Shannon Gilbert walk a half mile?
It was very tough. When you get a chance to look at that area, you will wonder how anybody could walk through that area.
There's no way anybody would have wandered into the marsh. That is a lie. Then you have her clothing. How did her jeans come off? 1/3 of a mile away from where her body is found, with her pocketbook. The commissioner of police said, well, they're bramble bushes. Running through the marsh, they pulled her jeans off. It's absurd.
Investigators believe Gilbert got tangled in brush and drowned in the marshy area, that she was not murdered by what cops believe is the serial killer that dumped the 10 other sets of remains at Gilgo Beach.
They even claimed she drowned. Are you serious? Shannon was found face up in very shallow water, 20 inches deep. She couldn't have drowned. And so then when that was discovered, the police immediately changed their story and said a different reason that she died, natural causes. What natural causes? They didn't say. I mean, it was ridiculous.
Do you still believe it was an accident at this point?
No. No.
I can't accept that she died of natural causes. There's no way. Especially when other women had been found in the same exact spot, all of the same age, all into sex work. There's a pattern. Anybody with a brain can see that there's a pattern going on.
And then a few days after Shannon was found, a new police chief came in, James Burke.
It's going to be a very good time to be a Suffolk County citizen, and it's going to be a very bad time to be a criminal in Suffolk County.
And the case was shut down. You couldn't get anywhere. You couldn't talk to the police. You couldn't get anything from them. Burke, with the help of the district attorney at the time, told Nassau County Police Department to step out of the case. New York State Police were told to step down. They also told the FBI to step down, get out of the case.
It's a local case. It's a case that is led by Suffolk County Police Department. The FBI can assist, but the FBI assists at the behest of the local agency. There has to be a federal crime attached to it for the FBI to take over the investigation.
When I was told that Suffolk County wouldn't let the FBI in on this, I thought it's too much for them to handle for themselves. They need more people in there. Why won't they let them in to help?
You don't tell the FBI no. You probably should be bringing in the agencies from anywhere that is willing to assist.
Suffolk County Police Department's hierarchy wanted to put to bed the entire saga of all these dead bodies.
We know she called 911. What we heard was someone who seemed disoriented, confused. She did not seem rational. She didn't act appropriately, and she ran off aimlessly into this marshy area.
We know for sure that Shannon Gilbert called 911, and then she disappears, allegedly never to be seen again by anyone. what was on the 911 tape. The police refused to give it to me. For me to find out what was on that tape, I had to sue the police department. The detective sergeant who was in charge, he said, John Ray will get that tape over my dead body. No, I don't think so. After years of litigation, I won. We got the tape.
Hello, you dialed into the 911 system. How can I assist you?
There's somebody after me.
I'm sorry?
No, stop, no.
How can you hear that 911 call and not send out your entire police department to look for this person?
She was being hunted.
Will this reveal something about the killer?
Stop, please.